Hi everyone, welcome to this video lecture. Myself, M. Krishna, working as Assistant Professor in EEE Department, St. Peter's Engineering College. In this video, I am going to explain electrical passive elements. Basically, we are using two types of elements in circuits. They are active elements and passive elements. Active elements means which can generate the electrical supply and serves the circuit. Passive elements means which cannot generate the supply, and these elements are using the generated supply from the active elements in the circuit. There are basically three passive elements, namely electrical resistance, inductance and capacitance. We'll see these three one by one. Electrical resistance. So electrical resistance is one of the conducting material property. This property is very important for the any conducting material to protect that material. It is the property of a substance to resist the flow of current through it is called resistance. We can able to understand very clearly by taking one conducting material. Here we are considering a metallic substance. This is a metallic substance. There are number of free electrons are there. They are moving in randomly in the crystal structure of a metallic substance. When we are applying some voltage across the metallic substance, the resistance due to the electric field, the free electrons drift from lower potential to higher potential point in the substance. During drifting motion, the free electrons continually collide with atoms of the substance, and this phenomena prevents the free motion of the electrons, and this causes resistance. The unit of electrical resistance is ohm. Generally, ohm is defined as 1 unit of resistance is such a resistance which causes 1 ampere of current to flow through it when 1 volt potential difference is applied across the resistance. Some basics of resistance. We can also get the equation from the Ohm's law. That is, Ohm's law states that at constant temperature, the current flowing through the resistance or material is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across the material. We can say that V is directly proportional to I also. When we take like that proportional constant is replaced by R, then we'll get V is equal to Ri. For the calculation purpose, we can write V is equal to IR also. Some basic equations when we want to find out the current, voltage and resistance. These three are the basic equations. This is the symbol of resistance, and the resistance mainly depends on the material dimensions like length and area of cross section. This is the equation. R is equal to rho L by A, where L is the length of the material in meter, A is the area of cross section in meter square, rho is the resistivity in ohm meter. The resistance is not only depends on the material dimensions, the resistance not only depends on the material dimensions, it also depends on the temperatures. If the temperature varies, automatically the resistance of the material also varies. Basically, the temperature having a coefficient, you can call that as a different values that the coefficient of temperature is having. For example, for the conducting materials, temperature coefficient alpha is positive for conducting materials. This alpha value is negative for semiconducting materials, and it is 0 for insulating materials. Means that if the temperature across the material increases, that increases the resistance of the material. So this is the equation related to the temperature variations and resistance. R of t is equal to the R naught of 1 plus alpha of t minus t naught, where R of t is the variation of resistance at temperature T. R naught is the initial resistance value at temperature T naught. And as I said, alpha is the temperature coefficient. T and T naught are the different temperature points. So this resistance is a linear, bilateral and passive element. VI characteristics of resistance. So when we apply a DC voltage to the resistance, so we are saying that a resistance is a constant. We are taking 2 ohm and we are applying voltage from 0 to 12 volt, and we are keeping one ammeter here to measure the current, how much current is flowing through the circuit. Here is the table is given. In this table, the values are shown, the values of amperes, ohm and volt. So for 0 volt, there is no current flowing through the circuit. When you apply 2 volt, we are getting 1 amp current. Based on the Ohm's law, we are calculating these values. That is, I is equal to V upon R. Let us see this. When we apply 8 volt of potential difference across the circuit, it will produce 4 amp current in the circuit. When we calculate 8 upon 2, we are getting 4 amp. Like that, different points we are getting. So when we take the characteristics like this, on y-axis it is current, on x-axis the voltage we are taking. When we draw the characteristics for this 2, we are getting the points like this. This is the point, these are the points. So when we join this, all these points, we are getting one straight line which is passing through the 0. Hence we can call the resistance is a linear element. So there are two types of connections for the resistance. One is series connection, the second one is parallel connection. So we can able to see the series connection here. This is the series connection. Number of resistors are there. If you want to connect the resistances in series manner, the one end of the resistor R1 is connected to the other end of the resistor R2. Like that, it's like a chain, we are connecting them. So we want to find out the effective value of this entire resistances. That will be this value. R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 if the three resistances only connected in series. If n number of resistances are connected in series, then the effective resistance value will be R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus and so on Rn. The one more connection is parallel connection. This is the parallel connection of resistances R1, R2, R3, R4. So when we connect the circuit like this, the effective resistance value will be 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3 all minus 1. When we connect only 3 resistances. If we are connecting n number of resistances in parallel, then the effective resistance value will be 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3 plus and so on plus 1 upon Rn, the whole minus 1. The second passive element is inductance. So when we twist the conductor into some coil, then that will become an inductor. Look at this. When we see the inductance symbol, so this is the inductance symbol. This is basically a conductor. We are twisting this conductor into a coil that will get inductance properties. So this is inductance is the tendency of an electrical conductor to oppose a change in the electric current which is flowing through it. That is, when we see this one in terms of Ohm's law, V is directly proportional to rate of change of current. That is, V is equal to L di by dt. This L indicates the inductance of the electrical conductor. So we can calculate this L when we know the voltage and rate of change of current. And this inductance depends on material dimensions also. That is, L is equal to mu naught N square A upon L. So where L is the inductance in Henry, mu naught is the permeability, then N square is the number of turns of the coil, and A is the area of cross section in meter square, L is the length of the coil in meter. The unit for inductance is Henry. When we see the VA characteristics of inductance, so when we have the diagram like this, normally inductance won't be there alone in the circuit. It is always with the resistor. Okay, when we drive this circuit with the DC supply, when we drive this circuit with the DC supply, we are going to find out the current with respect to time. Basically these characteristics, not exactly VI characteristics, the characteristics between time and current. When we see the VI characteristics, the characteristics are drawn between voltage and di by dt, rate of change of current. In such case, we are getting a linear signal, that is a straight line which is passing through the zero as same as the resistance. That's why the inductance is a linear bilateral passive element. And in this diagram we can see the characteristics of current and time. This is the time and current, because RL are presented. So here in this case, initially it doesn't allow the current, because one property of inductance is it does not allow the sudden change in current and initially. That's why it doesn't allow the rate of change of current will be takes place. Then the inductance is the ability of an inductor to store the energy, and it does this in the magnetic field that is created by the flow of electron and flow of electrical current. So when we apply AC supply, AC signal across a inductor, then current will flow through the inductor, but based on the property of inductor, the current flowing through the inductor does not allowed initially. That's why we can say voltage, immediately applying the voltage, the current won't flow. That's why we are getting some delay signal of current in the waveform. Hence we can call there is a phase shift between the voltage and current which is there in the inductor. So we can call that as a current is always lagging behind the voltage applied across the inductor. You can able to see this in the diagram. This is voltage waveform, this is current waveform. Based on the property of inductor, it does not allow the current to flow immediately. The rate of change of current takes place afterwards when we apply the voltage. That's why voltage signal comes first, then this is voltage signal comes first, then current signal comes later. So as same as the resistance, we can able to connect the inductance or inductors in series and in parallel. When we connect the inductances in series, then this is the circuit, and series means the current is same which is passing through the all inductances. The voltage across every inductance we are taking here, that is V1, V2, V3 and so on Vn, and applied voltage is V. Here to calculate the effective value of inductance, we are using two laws what we are discussed in earlier videos. Those are KVL and KCL. As we know, the total current is flowing through all the inductances same, that is IL1 is equal to the IL2 is equal to the IL3 so on is equal to IN. But total voltage, when you apply KVL here, total voltage applied is equal to the all voltage drops, that is VL1 plus VL2 plus VL3 plus plus Vn. So when we substitute, when you the values of inductance and rate of change of current values from the Ohm's law, that is V is equal to L di by dt values, then we are getting equation like this. L total, it is not LT, it is L total di by dt is equal to L1 di by dt plus L2 di by dt plus L3 di by dt and so on plus Ln di by dt, because these all currents are same flowing through the inductances. When we take this di by dt common, we are getting L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus and so on plus Ln. So this is the effective value of inductance. L total is equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus and so on plus Ln. This is the L equivalent value when we connect the inductances in series. So there is one more connection for the inductances, that is parallel connection. So when we connect the coils like this, as we know, in the parallel connection, in the parallel circuit, the voltage is same but the current is different. Here we are using KCL equation, KCL law to calculate the currents to get the effective value of inductance also. Here we can able to see this. I total is equal to the, when you apply KCL at the every node, here when we apply the KCL, then we are getting IL1 plus IL2 plus IL3 and plus IN. But in the parallel circuit, voltages are same. From this we can, from the Ohm's law, we can write one equation. V is equal to L di by dt. From this we can write the equation for di by dt, that is Vt upon Lt. So using that relation, we are going to get the one equation here. See this? These are the few parts in the simplification. Finally, you can say Vt is here Lt of VL1. This we are going to replacing this Vt by Lt is equal to V upon L1 plus V upon L2 plus V upon L3 so on. Then when we write the only inductances, 1 upon L total is equal to 1 upon L1 plus 1 upon L2 plus 1 upon L3 and so on. Like this we will get the effective inductance values. Then we'll see the capacitance. The capacitance is the third passive element in the electrical engineering, electrical circuits. Then the common form is a parallel plate capacitor, which consists of two conductive plates insulated from each other, usually the sandwiching a dielectric material. In a parallel plate capacitor, capacitance is very nearly proportional to the surface of the conducting material, conducting plates, and inversely proportional to the separation distance between the plates. So this is the symbol of capacitance. These two are the parallel plates. So when you apply the electrical supply across this, then one plate acting as a positive plate, other plate acting as a negative plate. In between there is a dielectric medium. This dielectric medium supports the creation of capacitance. Basically, the capacitance is the electrical property of a capacitor and is the measure of a capacitor. Its capacitor's ability to store an electrical charge onto its two plates. The unit of capacitance is farad. Generally, the capacitance is defined as being that a capacitor has the capacitance of 1 farad when a charge of 1 coulomb is stored on the plates by applying a voltage of 1 volt. Then we'll see VI characteristics of capacitance. So these are some characteristics, not exactly VI characteristics. VI characteristics means as same as the inductance, there is one property for the capacitance, that is, so when we try to when the current flows through the capacitance, then the capacitor doesn't allow the sudden change in voltage, which is going to be built up across it. That's what we say I directly proportional to dV by dt. We can write it is from Ohm's law. When you write like that, I is equal to C dV by dt, means what? The current is going to be entering into the capacitance, but it doesn't allow the build up the voltage across it. That is, you can see this in the diagrams also. This is the diagram. So there is one capacitor. Current is flowing, try to flow through the capacitor, means maximum current is flowing through the capacitor like this. Then initially it does not allow the sudden voltage to build up across it. Then it is try to build up the voltage across it later on. Like this, the property of capacitor is it doesn't allow the sudden change in voltage, where the property of capacitor, the inductance is it doesn't allow the sudden change in current. Please remember these 2 points regarding to the inductance and capacitance. And here the capacitance is also a storing element. Capacitor or capacitance is the property, the material, the capacitor is a storing element. Voltage and current relationship in capacitance. So as same as the inductance, here also same thing. When we apply the AC signal across the capacitance, then there is a chance of voltage and current relationship we can see. So as I said, voltage is applied across it, but when we draw the characteristics for the current entering into the capacitance and the voltage builds up across the capacitance. So this is the voltage and this is the current wave. Current wave is ahead of the voltage wave, means current is entering into the capacitance earlier. So based on the property of capacitance, it does not allow the sudden change in voltage. That's why this voltage waveform comes later after the current. We can say that the current is leading by the voltage in the capacitors. So as same as the inductance and resistance, we can able to connect the capacitors in two manners. One is series connection, the second one is parallel connection. We'll see the series connection here. So in the series connection, we are going to connecting the all capacitors like this, C1, C2, C3 and so on Cn. If we connect like this, these two, the calculation for this one is unlike resistance and inductance, exactly opposite to them. Let us see that here what happened in series connection. As I said earlier, the voltage drops are different. We are applying KVL here, Kirchhoff's voltage law, to find out the voltage drops and voltage risings. See this, some relations are there in capacitances between the voltage, charge and capacitance. Look at this, V is equal to Q upon C. From this we can write for every voltage drop like this, V1 is equal to Q upon C1 and V2, V3 and Vn. So when we substitute these values in the equation, we get 1 by C is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3 plus 1 by Cn, like this. So this is the effective value of capacitance when we connect the capacitances in series with each other. So the second connection of capacitances or capacitors is this one. We can able to see this one in the figure. This is one capacitor, this is another capacitor. These two are connected in parallel. Here we are using KCL law, Kirchhoff's current law, to calculate the effective capacitance value. See, this is from the Ohm's law. I is directly proportional to dV by dt. Here the proportional constant is replaced by C. Then I is equal to C dV by dt. As we know, when we apply KCL here, then I equivalent, total current is equal to IA, which is flowing through the first capacitance, and IB is the second current, which is flowing through the second capacitor. So here we are applying the same thing, these values here, CA dVA by dt plus CB dVB by dt. As we know, in the parallel circuit, the voltage is same. That's why this dVA A and dVB replacing by dVQ. Then we are getting like this. We are going to taking this common dVQ by dt. Then we are getting CA plus CB dVQ upon dt. So CA plus CB, you can write C equivalent. Like this we are getting total effective capacitance when we connect the parallel. We are getting like C equivalent equal to CA plus CB. If we are connecting n number of capacitors in parallel, the value is C equivalent equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3 plus Cn. So here are some calculation parts for the both inductance and capacitance. Basically these two are energy storing elements, apart from the opposing the sudden change in current and sudden change in voltage. One is acting for oppose the sudden change in current, inductance. The other one is acting for opposing the sudden change in voltage, capacitance. So this is the equation from the Ohm's law. VL equal to LdI by T. This minus indicating the Lenz law. And we can able to calculate the power. P is equal to VI, and we are replacing with LdI by dt. Here is the into I. Suppose we want to find out the energy stored by the inductor. Then this is the way we are going to see the energy, basically having the equation W equal to P into T. There we are using this P into T. So when we integrating this power equation, basically dW is equal to P into T. When we integrating that will become W is equal to integral of PT. From that we are getting one equation. This is energy stored by the inductor, that is half Li square. After doing some simplification, we are getting half Li square. When we see the capacitance part, this is the basic equation which we can see in capacitors. Q is equal to Cv, where Q is the charge, C is the capacitance, V is the voltage. And one relation is there among the energy, voltage and charge, that is W equal to Vq. So when we are taking the derivation of W, we are going to, the voltage across the capacitor won't change, the charge is going to be changing dq. We are writing like this, Q by C into dq. V is replaced by, here from this here, V is equal to Q by C. Simply we are replacing that like. So then afterwards we are integrating both sides. We are getting W is equal to integral limits from 0 to Q upon C dq. So like this, when we done, we are getting half Q square C. This is also going to be modified as half Cv square from this relation. Thank you for watching this video.